Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge.
And I'm Ashley Sledge.
And let's talk horror.
Today we're going to do our review on 2024's Trap.
Now, we're going to give you guys our positives about the movie, the negatives about the movie, and then we're going to spoil it. So if you haven't seen it, don't watch the spoilers yet. Go watch the film and then come back for our spoilers. You're not going to want to be spoiled about this one.
So let's get into the positives. Talking about the positives, we have to talk about this cast. They were all absolutely amazing. Josh Hartnett, he was like out of this world. He did phenomenal.
More like Josh Hartnett.
Yes, he was. Just the faces he made, he like little smiles, the way his
smile would fade.
Into that, and just like the little ticks that he had in his face, just everything he did brought this movie together, and it was just amazing.
Right. The music, it really matches the vibe of the film.
Yeah.
You really feel the vibe of the music in the film, and not only that, this film is actually really funny.
It is like, really funny.
There's a lot of I laughed out loud moments throughout the whole portion of this film.
Yeah, and then you have this father-daughter relationship, which is really great. He is a good dad. He loves his daughter. He took her to this concert.
Thank you. This is literally the best day of my life.
They have, this great relationship. She loves him too, and he would do anything for her. And it's just really heartfelt, their relationship they have.
I really related to Cooper, and I'm not saying I'm like a sociopathic killer or anything, but the way that he loves his daughter, the way that he would do anything for his daughter, the dad jokes he does, like trying to understand the slang. There was just so much about it that felt very relatable if you have a teenage kid.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of the slang, it just cracked me up. There was real anxiety, and it's weird because the anxiety was for the villain.
Yeah.
Like the anxiety of him getting caught. Like you didn't want him to get caught. That's how you felt about him. Like that's how he brought it in, because he was this great dad.
It really is that Ted Bundy.
Yes.
He's such a good looking, well-spoken guy. He's a firefighter. You're really you don't want to believe he's the villain.
Yeah. And so it's like you don't want him to get caught in all these things that he's doing, and just the way that he can persuade people. It's really great.
Yeah. The choreography throughout the concert.
Oh, so good.
So good. For the first act of this movie, it feels like you're watching a concert in your home. And it's awesome. Like the way that Lady Raven, the way that the concert went with everything that they were doing, it was really, really well done. You could tell they took a lot of time to focus on the music they were making and the choreography that they were doing up on stage. Like it felt like I was watching a Taylor Swift concert, or like the way that the kids were screaming.
Yes.
And everything was so amped.
Teenage girls in the audiences with their dads, and it was an awesome concert, and they really took their time to make it look real, and that's awesome.
Absolutely. So spoiler free, those are some of our positives. Now let's get into some of our spoiler free negatives of Trap. So one of the negatives, look, the merch guy knows way too much. Now, they do delve into why, which we're not going to talk about.
Right.
But it just seems like that wouldn't happen the way it did, because
I don't think they would have given him that much information.
You're playing your hand.
They'd probably sprinkle a little bit of information, and then,
go from there.
Yeah.
The amount of information they were giving the people, I feel like is unrealistic, because you're playing your hand. You're showing your hand to everybody. And if one of them is who you are looking for, you've just given them every out available.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like,
Yeah. Cooper, his luck is really unbelievable. There's things that everything had to go exactly the way that they went for
the movie to go.
To keep going. And I get plot purposes, but he has got some damn good luck.
Yeah. And look, the whole third act, we're going to talk about this in the spoilers.
Yeah.
You really have to suspend your disbelief for the third act.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like she was just saying, like everything had to go his way.
Yeah.
And it did. So and
Again, he's a smart guy, and he is. I don't know, like
he's charismatic. He's able to get, he's very persuasive.
Yeah, like just the way he talks to people, and like the looks that he gives, like they want to open up to him for whatever reason.
And like I said, there's so much that had to go right in order for this movie to go the way it went. Mm-hmm. And for a movie that was very, very much based in reality and grounded in reality, there was a lot that you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. So, again, not very many negatives about this film.
We really had to reach for some negatives.
Right. We're talking about a merch guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that as a negative. So, those are our negatives. Now, guys, we are going to spoil the film. So, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have, join us for the spoilers.
It's definitely worth your time.
So, guys, like we said, you really have to suspend your disbelief throughout this film. And if you've seen the trailer shows you the first act.
That's it.
Yeah. I thought the trailer gave you everything.
Yeah, and it did it. And it was actually really brilliant the way they did it, just to like bring you in. But there's so much more to the story.
There's so much depth that goes along with it. And the way that he gets out, because they have every exit blocked.
Yeah.
They're looking for a tattoo, which he has. The way he gets out is he tells Lady Raven. They go backstage because he tricked M. Night Shyamalan.
He persuaded him and said that his daughter had leukemia that she's getting over, and that's how they got backstage passes, because they felt
She went on stage to be I can't remember what it was, like the angel girl or something like that, and then they got to go backstage. And he tells Lady Raven, he goes, I think you're looking for me. And I think you know what I'm talking about. I think you're all looking for me. And he shows her that he has a victim on his phone. That's what you've seen in the trailer, the guy in the basement that's crying. And he's like, he's going to die if you don't put us in your limousine and get us out of here. And you're going to be the reason. I have carbon monoxide in there. He's going to suffocate.
He goes on and explains about carbon monoxide and how your body craves carbon monoxide more than oxygen.
And that's why it kills you.
And it will kill you.
And he tells her, unless you put me and my daughter into your limousine and get us out of here, I'm going to kill him. And that blood's going to be on your hands. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, damn. Like, he just went there. First when he started telling her, I was like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Like, now she knows. She sees your face. Right. Like, but I guess he was kind of trapped. He was like that mouse, the mousetrap. He was cornered.
And he knew. Because the thing was, he wanted to get backstage because the merch guy told him the only exit is out the back.
Yeah.
But nobody can get backstage. When he gets back there, the doors are all still blocked by security and FBI agents, and they're going to be checking people on the way out.
Mm-hmm. And so he definitely had to figure out something to get him and his daughter out.
Right.
So the reason they did this whole concert is because they found a portion of a concert receipt at one of a rental house.
It wasn't even like a rental house. He's a firefighter.
It was like an abandoned house or something, or like a house that had
that wasn't up to fire code.
Up to fire code. So he's like, these.
That's how he knows all these houses, because he's a firefighter,
and he probably has to be the one that says this isn't up to code. This is a great house for me to use.
Right, and they found a portion of a torn receipt for Lady Raven's concert in the house.
He clearly wasn't didn't do good that day.
Right.
Yeah.
You really feel sorry for Cooper throughout this whole movie.
You really do.
Like, there's moments where you're like, oh, dude, come on, man. Like, and you feel bad for him, like when you watch him trying to make his escape. And I think a brilliant part of that is you don't ever see him kill anybody.
Right.
You see some aftermath pictures, but you don't see him go crazy and kill anybody, which is kind of a negative. We don't get any on-screen kills.
There's no on-screen kills. They could have spliced some of them in there. That would have been amazing if they would have spliced some of the kills and him going crazy. Because
I think the reason they didn't is because then you wouldn't feel bad for him.
I think they wanted us to like him to win.
I think that's part of the twist.
Yeah.
Is you're actually finding yourself actively rooting for the guy from the beginning is the villain.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we talked about that receipt, found out one of the houses. It was his wife. She set him up. She had her suspicion that he was the butcher, and she even tells him, maybe I thought maybe I was wrong. And
maybe they would prove me wrong.
They would prove me wrong, but she
followed
watched him. Yeah, she watched him one day lie to her neighbor, and she said the way it came so natural.
I wanted to know how you did it.
Yeah, and she said it chilled me. And then after that, she had the suspicion of him. So
She followed him to the house, went in and saw there was just... He even said, he goes, I never killed anybody at that house. That's where I went to think.
Yeah.
And you find out that, like, she had her suspicions, and at first she thought he was having an affair. And he blows that off like, really? No.
He was like, that didn't feel right, though, did it?
Yeah, and he knew. He's like, you knew it wasn't that. So she's the one. That's the big twist, I think, of the movie is his wife. I thought it was his daughter. I called it earlier today. I said, I think his daughter turned him in because how would the FBI know? And then when they said the concert ticket thing, I was like, oh,
the way she was with her dad, though, like, I knew it wasn't the daughter.
The daughter-father relationship in this movie is so amazing.
She loves her dad.
Yes.
Like, I just knew the way she looked up to her dad, like, it wasn't her. So we do find out that the wife set him up.
But she nobody in the... I thought they might have been in on it. They weren't. Nobody knew except for him. And he also loves his kids.
Yeah. He knew how to keep the two lives separated. Mm-hmm. Almost like a man that has two different families. Yeah. But he knew how to keep it separated. Like
it wasn't an affair, it was him being a murderer.
Right. He was this good family man. He loved his kids with all his heart. Yeah. And he was angry at his wife because you took that away from me. I'm not going to be able to see my kids anymore.
And he even says it, like, that's one part that really hit me. He's like, when I was killing these people, like, it was calming for me.
Right. I didn't feel anger, but I feel
anger with you, and this is different.
I'll just do this one last one.
So she's like, well, because here's where the suspension of disbelief comes in. The police converge on his house because Lady Raven takes his phone, goes in the bathroom, texts the police, texts on Instagram Live or something, and they find out where the other guy is in that magical 30 seconds of her being on live.
With a statue that had
a broken lion.
A broken
and
lion and a blue door. And right away someone found out, well, that's right across the street from me. So, that's how they saved the victim. Yeah.
Then he has a hole dug in his closet that goes outside.
To the neighbor's yard to get away.
Well, then after all that, he drives the limousine. Lady Raven gets out of the limousine. Somehow he magically gets out of the limousine and gets back to the house, and he's talking with his wife, and she's like, well, let's just, he's telling her, he's like, I know that you know, and it wasn't, you did this. And she's like, well, we're supposed to be celebrating. Let's have this piece of pie. They're sitting there eating the pie, and then he starts rubbing it, and he's like, my drugs. And then
she drugged him with his own drugs. He was like, I just gave him just a little.
Just to calm him down.
Just to calm him down, but she...
Yeah. And again, when did she have time to do this? And how did she know that he would eat that pie? Again, a lot of this third act is you got to suspend your disbelief because it's so good. It just, please, I promise it's worth it.
It is.
And if you've seen it, like, the way that it plays out, you're just like, he's going to kill her. Mm-hmm. He even tells her this is going to be your typical murder-suicide. He
has big mommy issues. Throughout the film, you see this woman. At first, you don't know who she is. This woman in, like, this flannel dress.
And at first, you feel bad, like an old woman accidentally walked into the men's bathroom.
Yeah, but then he sees her, and then she's gone. And you find out that he has these huge mommy issues. She, laid her hands on him. A lot of abuse, it sounds like.
I wish we could have dove more into what these issues were.
Yeah, if we could have also gotten maybe, like, flashbacks of him as a kid, like, what really happened.
Because she says, I'm glad you feel anger.
Yeah.
So I think that's her, like, in his mind. After he takes the drugs, he has a vision of his mom. She's like, I'm glad you feel this. So I think that in his own mind, he's telling himself, like, I'm not just, a murderer.
Yeah.
I can feel other emotions. I'm not just a sociopath that has no feelings. And that's when he's like, I'm done. This is it. Mm-hmm. It's over for me. But the movie ends with him, and he's so OCD. Like, when he's chasing Lady Raven, he's straightening up things in the house. Like, he straightens up tennis rackets.
That's a sociopath, though. That's absolutely a sociopath, and so
when he walks outside, or when he's leaving the bathroom, he straightens the towel.
Yeah.
Well, then he's walking out, and he's like, can we stop for a second? And he picks up his daughter's bike, and he straightens her bike out. And then she runs up and gives him a hug, and your heart breaks into pieces.
It does. Like, she just lost the man that she looked up to.
Right. Well, then he gets in the back of the old paddy wagon, the police van, and you see him take a bicycle spoke out of his sleeve and undo his handcuffs for the movie to end. So he does get taken into custody, but then he did break the bike spoke when he picked the bike up.
And just a smile into a laugh that he does it's chilling.
Yeah. Well, then you have the guy, I can't remember his name. I want to say Charlie, but I don't think that's right. The merch guy.
Yeah, the merch guy. You have at the end.
There's a post-credit scene where he's like watching, because he was obsessed with the butcher. And he's watching the news, and he's just like, they're like, and there's a firefighter named Cooper. Here's a picture of him.
Real
And he's like,
family man.
and he's like, I helped him. I helped him.
I'm
I'll
not
never talk to
talking
anybody
about-
work again.
Yeah.
Like it was really, really good. So overall, guys, I'm gonna be honest. This is my favorite film of the year at this moment, August 1st, 2024. At this moment, about halfway through the year, this is my favorite movie. I'm giving this a 4.75 out of 5. Again, the ending, you have to really suspend your disbelief. This could have been a 5 if they would have been a little more grounded and a little more believable there at the end. I could have seen myself giving this a 5, but that third act is just real. And, my ranking might go down the more I digest it, but fresh out of the theater, I'm giving it a 4.75. That's how much fun I had with this film.
I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's tied with the other two favorites of the year, which is Abigail and Lisa Frankenstein. I didn't have a lot of expectations going into this movie. M. Night Shyamalan, he is either a hit or a miss for me. And this one was a hit, and I really enjoyed it. I was actually tired going into watching this, and I didn't feel like falling asleep. Like, right. I was entertained the entire time. And
the movie starts off letting you know who he is.
Yeah,
that's what I love about this movie.
And just him going through the waves, trying to figure out how he's going to get out. What's his next move? Yeah. This cat and mouse thing. It was really, really a great movie.
We're so different because I went in with huge expectations.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to get let down. Like, I went in like, I'm expecting so much out of this movie. I'm going to get let down. And I didn't.
Well, so. I figured the twist is going to be something so stupid.
Right. It's going to ruin it.
Yeah.
But it really, like, the twist is really just that his wife, like, there's not like this huge Shyamalan twist.
Yeah, which is actually good. I think that's why it
was played
landed
more,
because
played more as a straightforward thriller, just like Knock at the Cabin. So let us know in the comments, guys, what did you think of this film? What did you love Trap? Did you dislike Trap? Was it just okay to you? Where does this rank for your other Shyamalan films? I would really love to know that. And if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. It does help build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror.
Stay who you are.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.